My name is Patrice Valentine. I am the owner and president of Profusion Web Solutions. And today we are talking specifically about local SEO. If you're not familiar with what SEO is, that stands for search engine optimization. And it really is the art and science of making sure that your website can be found when someone is searching for your products or services online. Today, we're talking specifically about local SEO. So if someone is looking for you, your products and services in your local area, making sure that you can be found in that local service area. This will be a good webinar for both service area providers. So if your company is like my company, like Profusion, where we are in Ferndale, Washington, but we work with people all over the place. So we don't necessarily have a physical brick and mortar location that people are going to be walking up to purchase something. We can work with people all over. That would be what we would call a service area business. Another example of that might be a plumber. People don't typically go to a plumber's location. The plumber goes out to someone's location. So we're going to talk about service area businesses as well as brick and mortar locations. So if you have a restaurant, or if you, I saw a couple of the people who've registered for this, that I know one of our massage therapy clients is on here. So if you have a massage therapy place, or if you're a restaurant and you have a physical place where people come to, this is extremely important for you as well. So we're going to look at both types of businesses. And what we're going to be looking at is the Google Business Profile Optimization and what that even is, looking at reviews and reputation management, on site, so actually on your website, search engine optimization for local rankings, citations and directory listings, and again, what that even means, some local link building, as well as tracking and tools so you can tell that you're actually doing it correctly and that you're making an impact on your business. Let's kick things off a little bit with why local SEO should be a priority for really any business, again, service area or brick and mortar. First of all, 46% of all Google searches are local. And that means that almost half of the people using Google are looking for something nearby. This could be on my screen right here, I have eye doctor Ferndale. So that's me looking for an eye doctor in a physical location. So I could be looking for something nearby my physical location right now. Again, this could be a service, a product, or an actual place like a restaurant. Second, 78% of local mobile searches result in an offline purchase. So that could be me, again, in my same example that I have on my screen, looking for an eye doctor in Ferndale. I'm not necessarily looking for someone to go purchase, contacts or eyeglasses online. I don't need a website that necessarily has e-commerce where I'm going to purchase something on there. I'm looking for a place where I can go physically in. And that might even be a store that I'm going into. It could be me scheduling an appointment or making a phone call to contact that business. And perhaps most important, appearing in that local three pack. So the three businesses you see on my screen right now, we're going to call that the local pack or the map pack or the local three map pack. I refer to it as all of those things. But it's basically that map section you see on my screen and in the search results. And being there physically or having your listing show up there, it's going to dramatically increase your chances of getting clicked on. Businesses in that map pack get the most visibility, they get the most phone calls, and ultimately they get the most customers, not only to their website, but also asking for directions and making those phone calls as well. So the takeaway here is if you serve a specific geographic area, showing up in your local search results is really pretty essential for your business. Let's first look at Google Business Profile. Now, Google Business Profile is what it's called now. It used to be known as a different name. It was Google My Business is what it used to be called. So you may still hear people referring to this as my Google My Business Profile, but this is Google Business Profile. And I have it highlighted on the right-hand side of my screen there where you see Advanced Medical Massage. That is your Google Business Profile. So if you want to see if you have one of these for your company, go Google your company name. So if it's, whatever your company name is, and then if you have a company name that's pretty common so that someone else might have that, do the city that you're in also. So for us, you would search for Profusion Web Solutions Ferndale, and that'll pull up your Google business profile there on the right-hand side. If you haven't claimed this, if you don't know if you have one of these, go to business.google.com and log in. That's going to show you if you are the owner of your business profile. And if you're not, that's something that you want to claim and get control of right away. When you are claiming or creating your business profile, make sure that you complete every section that is available to you on that profile. This includes categories, business hours, the services that you're offering. There's a section for products. So if you have, I mean, for us specifically, we don't necessarily sell products, but we have different categories of services. So we can put in there, our products might be website development, search engine optimization. If you're, advanced medical massage, your products might be, they actually do sell some products like massage tools, but your product might be a Swedish massage versus a medical massage. So you might have different kinds of massages that are focusing on as your products there. And then make sure that you have a really complete business description. The more complete that your profile is, the more trust Google is going to place in you. Next, in your description, use local keywords. So this can be something that it can be pretty simple. So if on, again, we'll just use our medical massage practice here. If in their profile it said, we're a full service medical massage clinic, period. And that's all it said, we're a full service medical massage clinic. Instead of having it just say that, have actually used the city that you're in that sentence as well. So we are a full service medical massage clinic in Bellingham. It's a subtle change, but it can be powerful as far as, again, being found in that local search. So making sure that you're using your location in your description where it's appropriate. You also want to upload photos regularly. So you'll see where it says see photos there on the right-hand side. You can see the map and you can see the outside. Those are taken from the Google map, but you see that where it says see photos. Actually, as a business owner and as a profile owner here, you get control over those photos. So you can go in and add your own photos. Your customers can also add photos here. So when they leave reviews, they can add photos, but you are actually in control of the photos that show up there as well. You can add pictures of the inside of your business, the outside of your business, your team working, some of the work that you've done. So if you're more of a B2B or a service type business, you can show some of your completed work. Google sees those fresh photos as a sign that you're active and engaged on your profile there. Now, there used to be, up until literally on Monday of this week, there is a Q&A section on your Google business profile. So it literally allowed people to ask a question on your profile, and then you, as a business owner, would be able to answer it, or a community member could answer it as well. So if the Q&A section still exists on your profile, it does not exist on our profile anymore. It does not exist on our example here on advanced medical massage. It looks to be that they're phasing this out of the Google business profile. It does still exist on Maps. So if you go to maps.google.com and look at your Maps listing there, you will still see the Q&A at this point, but sometimes Google will remove features or move them from one place to another, and then at some point we might see it phased out completely. That doesn't mean you should ignore it. It means that you should just kind of be aware of where the location actually is at this moment. But that Q&A, if someone asks a question of your business, make sure you're going in and answering them. You can also put in your own Q&A. So on your site, if you have a list of frequently asked questions that you often reference for your business, that could be, do you accept insurance? How long is a typical massage? What kind of ailments would be good for a medical massage? Something like that. So all of those questions, you can go in and actually put the question in there and then also provide the answer. Now it will show that advanced medical massage in our example here. It will show advanced medical massage ask the question and advanced medical massage answer the question. So the optics are a little strange just because it showed that you asked and answered your own question, but it does allow you to get more information into your Google search or into your Google business profile, which just allows Google further understanding of the services and products that you actually offer. So go in and do take a look at the Q&A, and just answer those as completely as you can, or ask your own. And again, that may not be in your Google business profile anymore. That might be only in your Maps section. It is for us, it is for advanced medical massage. It appears that it is not every business that's been changed, but it looks like they're slowly making this change. And then a lot of people don't realize that there is an update section on Google Business Profile, similar to how you would post an update for social media. So if you're creating an Instagram post or a Facebook post, also include that post and that information on your Google Business Profile. There's a post section there that if we were able to continue scrolling down on Advanced Medical Massage's profile, you would see a section that shows posts. And this is a great place to highlight any specials. It's a great place to put, again, anything that you're going to be putting on social media. Treat the post section like you would social media. It keeps your profile active and engaged. When your profile is complete and consistent, it not only builds trust with your customers, it sends strong signals to Google that your business is legit, it's relevant, and it's worth sending people to. That's the important thing here, right? The whole goal is you want to get your website to the point where it can be found and Google will start sending traffic there. Again, if you don't have access to your Google business profile, or if you're not sure if you do, go to business.google.com, and that is going to be where you would log in to go and access that section there. If we look specifically at that map pack, now this is for physical location businesses. I will talk in the next slide about service area businesses. So bear with me here for if you're one or the other, and this doesn't completely relate to you at this moment, the next slide will. That physical location, landing on that Google local map pack, and that's again, that's that set of three. On this one, you see 4 listings on the one that's on my screen right now, because this top one is actually a Google ad. So they're paying to be here. Welcome Dental is. These other 3 are what we would call the map pack there. So those are the 3 listings that show up right under the map when you search for something like I've done here, root canal near me, root canal specialist near me. To show up here, Google looks at 3 main factors: proximity, relevance, and prominence. You really can't control the proximity, because the proximity is where the user is searching from. So I'm sitting here in my office in Ferndale, Washington. So that's my location. And it also looks, that's the proximity. And it also looks at the location of your business. So when you've claimed your Google business profile, what address you used is your proximity indicator. So if I say dentist near me and you're in Michigan and I'm in Washington, it's not going to show me your business in Michigan unless for whatever reason my IP settings are wrong and it shows I'm in Michigan. It's not going to show me your business. So that's the proximity. You don't have a ton of control over proximity. You can influence relevance and prominence. Relevance comes down to how well your profile and website match what someone is searching for. So looking at the keywords that exist on your website, making sure that it's in line with what people are actually searching for. This is where the keywords and the categories and the business descriptions come into play. So when you were creating your Google business profile, those 3 sections that we talked about a little bit, keywords, selecting the right categories, and your business description, that's where those come into play quite a bit, is in relevance. And then prominence is all about how well known and trustworthy your business appears to be on Google. You can boost this, and we'll talk more about this, but you can boost this by collecting consistent quality reviews, getting listed in relevant directories. Again, we'll talk about that. Earning some local backlinks, so having other websites linked to your site. We have a slide on that as well. And then staying active on your Google business profile with those posts that we talked about. If you focus on improving the 2 things that you can control, the relevance and the prominence, and really focusing on reviews and content, we'll talk about that too, you'll be much more likely to show up when local searchers are searching. Again, that's for your physical location business. Now, if you are a service area business, so if when you claimed your Google business profile, you said, let's say you work from home. A lot of people have home-based businesses, but you don't want people showing up to your house. That would be strange. So what you did is you said, I'm a service area business and I service, let's just use myself for an example. I service all of Whatcom County. That's where we are physically in Washington State. We're in Whatcom County. So I could say, okay, I'm going to focus on these zip codes. And I'm not going to list my actual physical address where we are, because I service everyone in this area. So what you can do to influence that map pack is set your service area strategically. So use a list of cities or zip codes that you serve. Don't just say Washington State. That's very big and broad. And yes, we can service everyone in Washington, but get a little bit more specific than that. We work with a lot of people who are service area businesses that say, well, we want to take over nationwide. Love that for you. That's great. But first, let's focus on dominating your local market. So in that instance, look at who you can influence. If you go to a Chamber of Commerce meeting, if you go and you sit, and you're winning and influencing the businesses near you, start there. So list those cities and zip codes first. Google's going to use this information to help connect you with nearby searches, even if you don't have that storefront, even if you are working out of your house. This gets a little bit more into some technical abilities on these next couple ones, but one of them, the thing you can really do to help influence in the service area business, is create location-specific landing pages. So again, just to use us, we're in Whatcom County. We service Bellingham, Ferndale, Linden. So on our website, we have location-specific landing pages that speak specifically to those areas. It talks about, what we do for Bellingham businesses, what we do for Ferndale businesses. If we have a client from Bellingham and a client from Ferndale, we're going to use those case studies and those testimonials on those individual landing pages. And that way, that page on my website that's all about our service area and what we do for those folks and those businesses in a specific city, but Google will know that, okay, Profusion services these services, they offer these services in this area, and it's unique content for that page. So every area that you service, you're going to want to have a landing page that is specific to that. Now, again, if you're like, well, I service nationwide, you're not going to have to go create 250 million pages right now listing every city. Focus on the areas that you really want to serve. So again, this might include you making some decisions about your business, but we tend to focus on, let's focus on my backyard first. Where can I make the biggest influence here? To this end, we want to look at building local backlinks and citations. I have a whole slide on citations that we're going to talk about, same with backlinks, but this really is about getting other websites to link back to your website. It used to be that you could go purchase, 100 backlinks for $10. I'm sure you've all received those emails in your inbox. These are not the backlinks that we're talking about. On a later slide, we're going to look at some strategies to actually creating these backlinks, but it's about partnerships. It's about, if you're a member of your local chamber of commerce, making sure that your profile is complete and they're linking back to you. If you are making donations to charity, requests that your logo and your website be linked from their website to your website. It just reinforces your connection to the locations in which you say that you want to serve, even if you don't have a physical location there. The next thing on here is add local content regularly. This is going to be blog posts or case studies. Again, some content to your website that you're regularly adding. You can also be adding this to things like LinkedIn. So if your website isn't the easiest for you to update, first of all, we can help with that, obviously, but add this to LinkedIn as well, because people are also searching on social media for the products and services that you're offering. So you can also add this to third-party sites that include links to your business and your name. An example of this is how we helped a family in Bellingham, for example, fix their water heater. That would be a blog post. So one of ours might be, how we helped a family or how we helped a business grow their online presence in Bellingham, something like that. And then the last item on this screen, again, for service area businesses, is on your website, use structured data or schema markup. If that is Greek to you, I'm going to encourage you to go back to last week's webinar when we talked a lot about actually what this is. But all schema is and structured data is, all it really tells is it gives Google, in Google's language, what your website is all about. So there's things like local business schema, there was an FAQ schema, there is a location schema, that if you enter this code correctly on your website, it just tells Google exactly what it's looking for. Google doesn't have to try and search the content on your page to figure out where you are and what products and services you offer. It provides that data to Google in a very specific way. So again, if you're not sure about structured data or schema markup, I would encourage you to go back to our website, and there's a webinars and education tab under services, and watch that webinar, because it'll talk all about structured data and schema. Now, one of the big things on the Google Business Profile is the ability to see your reviews, right? So everyone sees the number of stars that you have on there, and people can go and read the reviews. They can leave a review. They can filter reviews. Reviews in SEO is one of the most powerful yet probably underutilized tools out there. Reviews do more than just build trust with potential customers. They also directly influence your local rankings. Google uses these reviews, the quantity, the quality, and the recency, all as ranking factors. So if you got a bunch of reviews when you first started out, but you haven't had any since, you want to make sure that you're continually asking people for reviews. Again, I have more information coming up on how you can do that and how you can talk about reviews and encourage reviews in a slide here coming right up. Reviews do more than just build trust, although there are plenty of stats out there that show that we trust, as consumers, we trust strangers' online reviews more than we trust our own families. So if we know that someone has used a product, liked a product, and provided feedback on a product, we tend to give that more credit than someone who, may not have a direct experience with that company. So we do trust these reviews, but they really do influence local rankings as well. You want to make sure that it is easy for your customers to leave a review. Obviously, we want happy reviews. So we encourage, if you know that a customer had a good experience, send them a link to leave a review. But you do want to respond to all reviews, positive or negative. So if you get a positive review, it's very easy to respond to those, right? If someone loves you, thought you did a great job for them, easy to respond to that. But you do want to also respond to the negative ones. My pro tip on responding to the negative ones would be to never engage in a battle online. You don't want to kind of feed into the ability to be a keyboard warrior and be able to hide behind some of that anonymity of the keyboard. So if there is a negative review, we tend to just acknowledge it. We're so sorry this happened. We would love to talk to you more about it. Please give us a call at the office or please send an email to this person and try and deal with the rest of the resolution offline. If you can, when you're responding to reviews, use keywords naturally in your responses. So if someone were to have left a review for advanced medical massage about what a great massage they had after a car accident, and I happen to know that's one of the big service areas that they offer is post-car accident treatments. In our response on that review, we might say something like, "We're so grateful that you chose advanced medical massage for your massage after your car accident." We're including keywords and then include in Bellingham, something like that. You're including those keywords naturally in your response. And then we tend to talk a lot about Google reviews, but Yelp, Facebook, industry specific sites are also important to monitor and respond to for reviews as well. We're going to get a little bit on page here. So if we're looking at your website, there are indicators, there are things that you can do on your site to help boost your local SEO. And we're going to start by using keywords. So city plus a service keyword. Again, I have an example on my screen that is Bellingham plumber or plumber in Bellingham. So rather than just saying we're a family-based business and we are plumbers, whatever your generic sentence is, you're going to want to add in those keywords as naturally as you can. You don't want to get all spammy with it and say it every third word in Bellingham and Bellingham and Bellingham, but use it naturally within the content on your site. These geo-modified keywords help search engines connect your services to the local intent. So it helps connect your services with the actual city that you're in or trying to market into. And the next, again, we talked about this a little bit, but you want to create that unique landing page for every city or area that you serve. Each page should include original content and should talk about your services, highlight local landmarks if it makes sense to do so. Again, mention your local testimonials for that specific area or case studies. Google is going to really love that depth of detail when looking at each individual location page. Also embedding a Google map on your contact page. So embedding a map of Ferndale on our Ferndale service area page or Bellingham on our Bellingham area service page. It just allows for, it reinforces your service area and creates some good user experience if they're trying to look for where they might be able to find you or where you've done services in the past. And then again, schema markup. So using that schema markup for local business, FAQs, and reviews. And again, if you missed our webinar, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, but it is up on our website. So you can go back and look at that if you're unsure what schema markup actually is. Okay, let's move into citations and online directories. These are pretty foundational for building trust with Google and improving your local visibility. Citations are simply mentions of your business name, address, and phone number. That's NAP. You'll see that referred to as NAP, capital NAP, across the web there. But it's one of the most important things is making sure that your name, address, and phone number is consistent across the web. If the information is different across different directories, Google is going to see that as a red flag. Now, this can be something as little as if your name is, we're Profusion Web Solutions, but if I was Jones and Jones attorney, and if on one of my directory listings, I was Jones and Jones with the word and spelled out. And on another one, I was Jones and Jones with an ampersand. Those are two different names of a company in the eyes of Google. You want super consistent name, address, and phone number. So if you are a comma LLC period, on every single name, address, and phone number listing, you want your name to be consistent, the exact same. You want your address to be the same. If street is spelled out in one of them, it needs to be spelled out in all of them. So across the web, all of those citations need to be updated to make sure that it is very consistent. in order to do these updates, because a lot of these, you didn't opt into these directories and citations. You didn't say, hey, include my business. They just aggregated it. They went and they scraped the internet and they found your information. And now your company is all over these listings. So you may have to go through, it might require you to go in and claim all of your listings on Yelp, on the Better Business Bureau, on the Chamber of Commerce, on all of them. The screenshot that you see on my screen right now, this is just a handful of the web directories that are out there that send traffic and data to Google. This is one of the aggregators that send information to Google. So you want to make sure that your name, address, and phone number is consistent across all of these. Some of them are easy, like the ones across the top there, Google, Facebook, Bing, Apple Maps. Those are pretty easy to claim. And as you get harder, they can, or as you get lower on the list and you're like, I don't even know what some of these are, it's still important to go through and claim your listing and make sure that your name, address, and phone is correct. And then monitor and update. So if you move, you got a whole lot of changes that you have to go make. You're going to have to go in and update those in all the directories. If if a new directory comes online that becomes important, that becomes, starts aggregating information for Google, you're going to want to make sure that you are monitoring and updating your listing in all of those different directories. Now we talked about local link building. So again, you used to be able to buy 100 links for $10. They weren't great links, but at least it was giving you some link love back into your website. What the algorithm is looking for here is Google is looking for, are other websites linking to your website? Basically, it's a vote of confidence. If other websites are linking to your site, it tells Google that this is an important website and we should be paying attention to it. Now, if you're a local business and you want to drive that local traffic, getting local and relevant websites to link to you is even more important. Now, this could be the way you can go about doing this is the easiest one. The easiest one that I see that a lot of businesses miss is if you're a member of your local Chamber of Commerce, you've joined a women's networking group. You are part of the board of directors for the Boys and Girls Club. As business owners, we are incredibly networked, and yet what we don't make sure is that all of these things that we're doing, we're not necessarily getting the credit by asking for a link back to our website. So if I'm on a board of directors for something, I want to make sure that on the website where my name is listed, it says my name right there, Patrice Valentine, owner of Profusion. Let's link Profusion back to my website. That creates a link from the Boys and Girls Club back to my website. And by the way, that's my local chapter of the Boys and Girls Club. So I'm already getting that local link love from their website to our website. Same thing with all of the associations that you're a member of. Your local Chamber of Commerce, they have the ability for you to go in and modify your listing. So go in and modify it, fill it out as completely as you possibly can, and make sure that your website link is updated. If you are a sponsor of a local event, a youth sports team, a nonprofit, if you've made a donation to a nonprofit, again, I know small businesses, we are the backbone for a lot of nonprofits. We're the ones making the donations. Make sure that you are asking for a little bit in return and getting that link on their website. It not only helps the link, but it shows all your community involvement. It shows all the good work that you are doing. Another great option here is to get mentioned in local blogs or media. Reach out with a unique angle on a story, share your expertise as a local business owner. Right now, hot topic for everyone here in Whatcom County is we are a border town, right? We're right near the Canadian border. And so the tariffs and the lack of Canadians coming down into our county, it's a huge story. And if that's impacting your business, your news outlets probably want to hear about it. They probably want to talk to you about, that experience for you. And that's a great way to get your name out there. And again, that link to your website. Submitting to community sites, neighborhood directories, and local business associations, they also usually have high trust domains and give your site that extra credibility. The goal here is to build a strong and hyperlocal network of backlinks that reinforces your authority in the local area. Now, once you're doing all of this, so let's say, great, you've built out your landing pages, you've optimized your Google business profile, you've now, you've talked to all the associations that you're a part of, and you're like, great, I've done all these things. How do I know if it's working? Well, hopefully you're seeing an increase of traffic if you have a brick and mortar location. You're seeing an increase of traffic coming into your site. But if you're not brick and mortar, it can be a little bit harder. But that's why you want to look at the Google Business Profile Insights. That's going to show you how people find your business, whether they're searching directly for your business or discovering you through broader searches. And that's where those local links are going to be coming in handy. You'll also be able to see in those insights how many phone calls, clicks, and then if you're a local business or if you're a physical location, you'll also be able to see how many times they clicked for directions to your business. So all your insights that get sent out monthly from Google Business Profile, you'll be able to see all of that. If you don't want to wait for the monthly report, you can always log into your Google Business Profile and you'll see that data in real time. The next thing you want to use is Google Search Console and Google Analytics together. One by itself doesn't provide you with enough comprehensive data. You want to use both tools there, but they're going to give you a deeper look at how your website is performing in the organic search, so not paid. What keywords are bringing people in? That's what the Search Console is going to tell you what keywords specifically, what pages are performing best, and where visitors are dropping off. So if they're bouncing right off your homepage, you might want to take a look at your call to action. And again, take a look at our previous webinar from just a couple weeks ago because we talk a lot about AI bringing search traffic to your website and how you can keep people on the site. The key here is you don't want to guess whether or not this is working. Guessing doesn't provide you enough data there. You want to make sure you're actually tracking to see if you have an increase in calls, increase in people coming to your website, then you know that some of the local search that you're doing is actually making a difference for your business. So the key takeaways that we've talked about is optimize your Google business profile fully. Again, that's if you go to business.google.com, log in there, make sure everything is filled out there for your business. Add pictures, add questions and answers if you have that ability to optimize your description. Any area that is a field that you can fill out, complete that totally. Ask for and manage reviews proactively. The easiest way to ask for a review is just to ask for it. We have at the bottom of my email signature, I have a little thing that says review us, and it takes you directly to my Google Business Profile for people to leave a review. On our invoices, I believe every invoice that we send out, which can be scary, but every invoice that we send out, I believe there's a link to review us as well. It's just a way that, we want to hear good, bad, or other. We want to hear how we're doing. It allows us to keep a kind of our finger on our business. So ask for your reviews, manage the reviews, respond to the reviews. You want to build out those strong local content and landing pages. Those are the specific pages per area that you are focusing on. Build it out with local content. Again, unique content on each one of those pages, case studies, testimonials, landmarks for those different locations, anything that will make that unique for that area. Ensure citation consistency. That's the name, address, and phone. Make sure that your citation is consistent across the board and make sure that you're asking and receiving those quality backlinks from the local community that you're already really invested in. And then track what matters and adjust accordingly. So making sure that you're actually seeing if there has been an increase and if there's not, or if you're making gains in one area and not another, then it allows you to at least know what to focus on. All right, I'm going to jump into the questions here because now it is officially Q&A time. So let me jump in here and see if there are questions that have come in. Nothing at the moment. So I'm happy to take your questions now about anything. Can be SEO related, can be, maybe there is a question. Q&A, here we go. Oh, the chat seems to be disabled. Well, that's not helpful, is it? Okay, so there's a Q&A section. You'll have to go in there, so not in the chat. Thank you to the attendee that put that in there. No Q&A or no chat for whatever reason that is turned off, but the Q&A section. So there is at the bottom, there's a Q&A section there that you can go in and ask questions if need be. I would encourage you, if any of this information was helpful, if this is, something where you're like, gosh, I hadn't thought about those kind of things, this is the kind of stuff we send out in our newsletter on a regular basis. So once or twice a week, we're sending out a newsletter full of changes that are happening in the industry because changes are happening all the time. So if you go to profusionwebsolutions.com/newsletter, you can sign up directly there. If you do have questions that maybe you don't want to ask right now, that's fine too. You can send us an email to either me directly, it's just Patrice, Patrice, at Profusion Web Solutions, or send to the info at. What seems to be a unique selling proposition these days is you can call us and a real person answers the phone too. So you can give us a call. Phone number is on the screen there. We will answer it directly without sending you through the phone tree from hell. You can get a real person and ask a question there. And then our Instagram is the other thing that is super helpful. 5 times a week we're posting on there, again, industry updates, things that might be interesting, or if there's changes happening that you need to know about for either local SEO. We talk a lot about AI. We talk a lot about blogging and how it can help your business. So go give us a follow on Instagram. Same stuff on Facebook as well. But Instagram is an easy one to give a follow and a like to. I don't see any other questions coming in. Just a heads up that the chat was disabled. Sorry about that. I'll have to modify that for our next webinar. Our next webinar is going to be 2 weeks from today. And we are talking about email marketing and again, what's working now. So Any questions on that? I don't see anything coming in. So again, I appreciate your time today. Really, I think we ran over just a little bit, but it's important stuff for the local SEO just to make sure that your website can be found. Any questions, please do reach out. And again, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.